Welcome everyone to this wonderfully wet November Sunday morning. We certainly need the rain and won't complain when it's raining. Last Saturday was Halloween, and I think we had a record 181 trick-or-treaters, but I think only about 8 or 9 were from our Betsuin. I'd like to thank Corleen and Leslie for bringing the kids over. That was so nice to drive them out to trick-or-treat at our home. This actually is my first chance to say to all of you, welcome to the month of November. This past Monday, November 2nd, was actually Reverend Yukawa's 83rd birthday. And November 2nd, that same Monday, is a birthday that Reverend Yukawa shares with Reverend Tim, with Shirley Kato, and also Brent Yamamoto. Are there any other November 2nd babies here? And I wish all of our Sangha members here born in the month of November a very happy birth month. You know, I checked in with Reverend Yukawa this past week to wish him a happy birthday. And he just returned from a family trip to Japan. And although they have a little bit of jet lag, he and Michiko are doing great and enjoying each and every day. Last year, in May of 2014, Reverend Yukawa returned to the Betsuin as our Gotanya guest speaker in the month of May. And accompanying Reverend Yukawa on this trip were our Dharma friends from Tacoma, Gary Ikeda and his daughter Erin. And Gary said about his visit to our Betsuin, he said, you could feel the love here. And Erin, his daughter, said that coming here to service was the best part of their trip to Sacramento. And she said, there's a feeling of family here. And I think that Reverend Yukawa, when he comes back, he especially brings this feeling of love and this feeling of family out, and we can't help but feel the love. When we worked together, when I was able to work with him, when he was the Rinban here, it was absolutely the best of times. When he spoke last May, he just had the biggest smile on his face, and I hope some of you remember his talk. You know, fortunately, it is online. And I've gone back to revisit his talk a number of times. Sensei began his talk last year with a big smile. He said, I'm a happy man. Can you tell? Can you tell? And then he added, I'm a very contented man and also a grateful man. And each and every one of us who were there that day, there was no doubt that we knew his words came from deep in his heart, and he was sharing what he really, really felt. With a big smile, he said, the reason for my happiness is because I accept who I am right now. I accept who I am right now. He shared a story of a conversation that he and I had when he was a Rinban here. It was probably over a dozen years ago before. But he remembers me suggesting that he should write a story of his Dharma journey. At that time, I told him, he's had such an interesting life, and he was always just so happy. I said, I think I have the title for your story already. I would call it in Japanese, Yokattana. Yokattana means how wonderful and how fortunate. How wonderful and how fortunate. For this has always been, it seems, how he's felt about his life. Then he shared with us that at his family's request, he has been writing the story of his life's journey. And in the past year, he had already written about 100 pages. But he said also, this was not for publication, but just to fulfill his family's request to know his life's journey. But in writing about his life, he found himself naturally looking back and realizing, as he said, I have had a wonderful life, and I have a great life. Sensei said, the reason that I'm so happy is that I'm really accepting myself. I'm happy just to be what I am. Just to be what I am. Then he said, I'm getting forgetful, but that's okay. That's what I am. I have arthritis, but that's okay. That's what I am. I'm getting old, but that's okay, he said. That's what I am. It was when Sensei decided that this is what I am and that's okay. That was when even more he felt so happy, so fortunate, and so grateful. And then he looked out at our packed hondo and he asked, how about you? How about you? Are you happy? And then he said, if you cannot say that you are happy to be here, if you're critical and unhappy, then he said, you're wasting your time. We are wasting our lives because each moment is important. Every moment is never to come again. If we cannot say how happy we are to be living this very moment, happy to be here this very moment, happy to be breathing this very moment, then we are wasting our time. He used the Japanese word mottainai. Mottainai. Mottainai is a great word. It's actually, I think, going to become a universal word because it was used at the United Nations not long ago in describing how we are wasting our planet's resources and damaging our environment. Mottainai. So it means wasteful, more than wasteful. It's just like almost like off the scale wasteful. Like someone watering their lawn today, You'd say, mottainai, Yeah, it's also what I understand a lot of people said, when Patty married me. Mottainai. Sensei added that we have to listen to the Dharma with our heart. Then we begin to see things with Dharma eyes. He said in accepting himself, he realized that he did not exist. He said, my life could not become what it has been just by myself. So many others, not just human beings, but all forms of life, the whole world, the whole universe is working this very moment so that you and I can exist. And all of this whole energy, Yukawa Sensei said, we call this Amida Buddha. But we have to open our Dharma eyes to see it. And then we can say, my life is great. I am happy to be what I am. And I can enjoy this moment as it is. If we cannot say that we are happy to be in this moment right now as we are, then, he said, we are wasting our time. Mottainai. In reviewing Reverend Yukawa's wonderful Dharma message, I think, in a way, this is a great opportunity for each of us to think more deeply about what is our happiness? What is our happiness? Are we happy to be alive? Are we happy to be here right now as we are? A few years ago, I saw a PBS special on the country of Bhutan. Bhutan is a small country southeast of Nepal on the eastern part of the Himalaya mountains. It is a very small country and it is not wealthy by any means. But in this documentary about Bhutan, it called Bhutan the happiest country in the world. The happiest country in the world. It seems that in the 1970s, the fourth king of Bhutan announced that the gross national happiness of their country was more important than the gross national product, which measured economic wealth. And in the last decade, the idea of gross national happiness has gained international interest. Here in the United States, some states, I understand, are beginning to try to measure the genuine sense of satisfaction of their population alongside with their gross economic production. 3 years ago, in 2012, the United Nations released a World Happiness Report. Isn't that interesting? The United Nations, 3 years ago, released a World Happiness Report. And many countries now participate in taking a gross national happiness survey. This survey tries to find out how a country's population feels about their sense of well-being in their community, in their culture, with their government, and also with their sense of health and spirituality. The survey asks if people are content with their knowledge and their wisdom and with their psychological well-being, and also their balanced use of time, and even their sense of harmony with the environment. There is now even an international conference on gross national happiness. Isn't that interesting? There's an international conference on happiness. At the end of this documentary, which really reflected Bhutan as a country where most people feel that they have a genuine sense of well-being, they said that things in Bhutan are changing. With television and technology comes advertising. And as young people in Bhutan become more enthralled with technology and ensnared by advertising, they're being made to think that their real happiness would magically happen if they were only able to buy this new thing or acquire that new toy or device. In other words, the happiness of the people of Bhutan will diminish when they begin to feel more and more that their happiness is in having things and getting stuff. Because advertising is making them feel that having more of the newest stuff will enhance who they are. I think we in this country certainly are in many ways affected deeply by advertising, especially from this time of year. And so many of our young children will be watching ads telling them, if you have this toy, you'll be happy. If you have this, life will be fun. But Reverend Yukawa shared with us that his deep happiness has been found in just being what and who he is. I know Sensei has been fulfilled in living his life sharing the Dharma, spending time with his loving family, and being part of a caring community of people that accepts each other and themselves as they are. But most importantly, he has a deep sense of personal well-being, just as he is. As he said, I'm getting forgetful, but that's okay. That's what I am. I have arthritis. That's okay. That's what I am. And I'm getting old, but that's okay. That's what I am. It was when Sensei decided that this is what I am and that's okay, then even more he felt so happy, fortunate, and grateful. With this month of November, we begin a very, very special family time of year in our culture, the autumn-winter holiday season, from Thanksgiving to Christmas and then to the New Year. And in less than 8 weeks, we will bring this year 2015 to a close. So as we begin this wonderful autumn-winter holiday season, let's set the bar high. Let's set the bar high. Let's make our goal to be able to truly feel happy and content and grateful, just as we are. I'm chunky and round, but that's okay. That's what I am. I have very little hair left on my head, but that's okay. I look good in hats. And I'm getting old, but that's okay. That's what I am. This too is the Dharma, to see life as it is and to see ourselves as we are. As Yukawa Sensei said, if we are not happy, then we must try to listen to the Dharma with our heart. Then we can begin to see things with Dharma eyes. And with Dharma eyes open, we can see and feel and say, my life is great, and I am happy just as I am. So, again, let us enter this winter holiday season, autumn-winter holiday season, enjoying each moment just as it is, being okay just as we are. We really don't need more stuff to be happy, not really, and you know this. All we need to do is open our Dharma eyes. So thank you for coming this wonderfully wet November Sunday morning. In closing, please join me in Gassho. As we enter this autumn-winter holiday season, let's set the bar high. Let's open our Dharma eyes and try enjoying each moment just as it is, being okay with ourselves just as we are. We really don't need more stuff to be happy. All we need to do is to open our Dharma eyes. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.